Hey everybody. So, part two is finally up on the floor channel. It's not on the main channel. I had to email them and then they sent me a link. So the link to this whole video, well, both of those videos together will be down in the description below. So if you want to watch the whole thing and everybody speak, there were some cool speakers. There was also people talking about black bears, or the hunt. A lot of them were. And I have pulled up to what I think is probably one of the most important situations that happened during this whole thing, and that is the conversation, or I should say, that's when Daniel Parker got up there and started talking. Um, as I said, there were a lot of people who talked, a lot of people from USARK, but I believe that the most heated and actual exchange happens when Daniel Parker got up there. So I'm going to play a little bit of that and do some commentary. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. So if you know anything about this situation, you will see why people were frustrated.
I appreciated some of what Colonel Young said earlier about euthanasia of captive animals, but I just wanted to clarify. Commissioners, are you willing to commit right now that we are not going to euthanize captive animals? Did I hear correctly that that is going to be the policy of the agency going forward?
If you just heard right there, burrito, whatever, this guy right here in the middle on the burrito wrapper, he just said he doesn't remember ever saying that. And he didn't say that. Um, the new, the colonel, I don't even remember what his position is right now, to be quite honest with you. Um, Something Young, Colonel Young. He said that they were stopping that euthanasia at the moment, and make it seem like it's not something that happens all the time. But I tried to look up the articles, and the only articles I could find on it that actually give like an actual number are ones you have to pay for. So I didn't do it. But 39 iguanas were euthanized out of 80 something um, at Iguana Land. And that happened not too long ago. And then there was another situation he'll talk about later.
Because I thought I heard Colonel Young allude to that earlier.
So we're doing a temporary directive on no euthanasia except for exigent circumstances, as case by case if need be, until we can do further assessments on training and stuff. So
What would those circumstances be?
uh, side of the road issues with animals that get hit or something like that. So we're not talking about all captive. We're talking about all wildlife. So there's cases where officers have to do that, have no choice for law enforcement purposes, obviously. But in the case of euthanasia, for reference to April 6th, we have put a directive to stop doing any euthanasia on conditions like that until further training can be assessed and gaps can be closed.
Thank you so much, Colonel Young. And we really do look forward to working with you in the future. We do not want to have an adversarial relationship with FWC, but we have a lot of people that are very upset, and all of the issues have not been fixed. So going forward, we need to have some serious conversations. That the line from what happened on April 6th can be traced directly from what happened in February of 2021 with the prohibited species regulations. And those were done without proper due process and stakeholder input. People were led to believe that they would not lose their animals, that if you had these animals, and multiple commissioners, you guys said that nobody's going to lose your pets. And Melissa Tucker said that people are not going to lose their pets. And it was even pointed out that that was misinformation, that anybody believed that they would lose their pets. And earlier it was mentioned that the pythons weren't pets. Well, in the body cam footage that we do have, the officer said, "We're killing this guy's pets." And with all due respect, I don't think any of you get to determine what is our pet. These are animals.
Listen, this whole notion that there's some mass.
And this is where things get kind of juicy, because he's talking about pets, that these are our pets. And this is when Berreto decides that, you know what, I'm going to put my foot down.
Secured happen, okay? You guys are taking it a little too far.
No, I don't think so at all.
Hold on,
What would you call
hold on,
somebody
hold on.
coming in and killing a bunch of animals without reason?
It was, first of all, first and foremost, I guarantee you that this agency doesn't euthanize. When's the last time we euthanized something? Give me, this is like, I don't want this notion that this is happening every day in Florida. It's not. Okay, it's an isolated incident. It's an isolated incident. You're pounding this to make it look like we do this. It's like our daily routine. It's not our daily routine. Okay, so let's get off that notion, please.
You're right, it's not your daily routine, but it's also something you said would not happen. You said it in your own words. You said that. You said it would not happen, and it did. So why do you think people don't trust you? Not only do people not trust you, but then when you react like this, when people point it out, and they're like, oh, you don't care. Like, this is not something that bothers you. This is a thorn in your toe, and you want it out, and you're irritated by it.
Were there iguanas euthanized the week before that happened?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Okay.
The answer, as far as we can tell, is yes. So, and there was a report published in the FWC Weekly Law Enforcement Report about iguanas being confiscated. So, we're very concerned about our animals, and it has been proven that sometimes you guys do kill animals. And the fact that this happened in the way that it did, it confirmed a lot of people's
Daniel, let me
fears.
ask you something. Didn't you hear the testimony earlier from the colonel that the I don't know if he was the actual owner, but the person in possession of these snakes asked us to euthanize them? Did you hear that earlier or not? Okay, so hold on. So you were making it sound like we walked in, kicked the door down, went and killed all these snakes. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Okay? All right, so we're listen, why don't you wrap up your thoughts? And I don't need all the cat calling in the audience. If that's the case, we're just going to call the meeting off. Okay? We're having a good discussion here. Let's get beyond this. Put out what you want to put out. You asked for a report yesterday. I told you it was already on the agenda for today. We gave it. Let's move on.
Yes, I should point out that the material that my organization has put out has not differed largely from what FWC said happened. We have very serious concerns with what we all know and agree happened on that day. But as far as what happened to Chris Coffey, you guys destroyed his life over the course of 14 months. He was a successful breeder. He wanted to be grandfathered in. He considered these his pets. He was charged. The case was dismissed weeks before this happened. You constructively seized his animals, and then you brought up earlier about the animals being fed. Did you offer to feed the animals? Those were your animals at that point. Did you pay for their care or upkeep? He was left with these animals with nothing to do with them, except you have to keep them. And if you don't, we're going to arrest you. So he's been operating under that assumption that he was going to be arrested. And
okay,
he didn't.
14 months went by in between the time they first came, and he said, I don't want these snakes because I don't want to be a criminal. And they said, no, you cannot do anything about it. The state will figure out what we want to do. Hold on to them. If any of them are missing in between then and when we get back, you're going to be liable. So he didn't do much with them because they weren't his animals anymore. They were the state's. And the state did not do anything to check up on them.
Just call in FWC to kill his animals.
Your time's up.
That's not how that
Your time's up, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was a pretty back and forth. That was almost as debate oriented as it got. There were only a few other situations where he talked back like that, but it was nothing like that. Berreto obviously has had some history with Daniel Parker because when Daniel Parker gets up there, that's when he gets very animated. Otherwise, he just sat there staring at you. Looked like some villain from some movie, where kind of reminding me of the villain from Tarzan, Like, just looks like he's no good, bad news when he's staring down at you. Now's the point where I got up to speak, and I figured I'd just throw this in here. I didn't do as bad as I originally thought I did. I thought I did a lot worse because when you're up there, we only had 2 minutes. We were supposed to have three. So, like, I'm talking about the first part, and I look down at the clock, and I just completely start, like, I went to a different subject before I was ready to. So, it's not as good as it should have been, but, you know, just judge for yourself. Hello, thank you for having me today. I'm born and raised here in Florida. I'm about to turn 28 years old, and my entire life I have seen nothing but Florida being destroyed. Whether it comes from conflict of interest, homes being built up out of nowhere, pesticides sprayed everywhere, whether it be lakes, lawns, whatever, and it always seems to be, oh, we're going after the bad guy. We're going after something else. In this case, with the reptiles, we're going after the bad guys. It's always the bad guys. But the people who end up getting punished always seem to be the people that, for the most part, everyone in this community sees as the good guys. The people that try to actually do good are the ones who are punished. And it continuously turns into this never-ending blame game from people who have no idea what they're even looking at. I mean, many of us have seen this this body cam video. You go up to a tank that has a bow in it, points and says that's a boa, and less than 5 minutes later the boa is dead. I see that, and I don't know if it's incompetence, but somebody who should be in charge of doing that should know what they're even looking at. I'm not going to go and drive down the street and point at a cottonmouth on the side of the road and tell people that it's a water snake and then expect them to be fine if they get bit. It's anyone who looks and knows what they're talking about and what they're doing would know that it's absolutely ridiculous what happened. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dean.
So, not my greatest moment of monologue, but hey, it's the first time I got to speak in front of people, so it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it. I'm going to definitely go more in depth with this whole thing and break it down. There's a lot of footage to go through, but I figured I would show like some of the big parts and see what you guys think about the situation. Let me know below if this is at all what you expected to happen. And if you don't agree, you think that nothing wrong happened, let me know that too. I would like to hear your comments. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you on the next one. Stay wild.